talking in the studio on the issue of disbanding party militias with the communication director of the opposition NDC, Sammy Gyamfi. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Great. At the beginning of the program, we shared with our viewers the latest letter from the president to your chairman. Have you, if I may ask, received the letter, and were you expecting this?
Yes, we have. But let me state that the president's latest response to our chairman's letter is unfortunate, but an unsurprising dereliction.
What about it is unfortunate?
It's unfortunate because we expected the president to show a little more commitment to the issue of disbanding political vigilante groups in the country. And so far, we haven't seen any such indication from the president.
You think the president saying that he has directed the Attorney General, without prejudice to the outcome of your engagement, if any will happen, to prepare and submit to Parliament as soon as possible specific legislation to deal with the phenomenon is not enough commitment?
Not at all. You see, we in the NDC welcome any efforts, any genuine efforts aimed at ending this culture of political violence. And to that extent, we welcome any efforts aimed at introducing legislation to combat vigilantism. But my sister, the point has to be made clear that as a nation, we already have enough laws in our criminal statutes that deals with the issue of political vigilantism. Political vigilantism is not legal in Ghana as we speak. It is illegal. And that is because we have enough provisions in our Criminal Offences Act of 1960, Act 29, that deals with the phenomenon. If you look at Section 198 all the way to Section 208 of Act 29, it criminalizes acts like rioting, provocation of rioting, the formation of organized criminal groups and their activities. And so there is no doubt that already as a country, we have enough laws that deals with the problem of vigilantism. What is therefore needed, is not new legislation, but the enforcement of already existent legislation. And that is what has been lacking in this country. You see, the solution to the problem of political vigilantism doesn't lie in the passage of new laws, because you can pass all the laws you want. It still comes to enforcement. Without enforcement, the laws on their own cannot achieve much. That is what has been lacking, because government and all of us over the years have not given the police and our security services the independence and the free hand to do their work. We demonstrated that during our just ended presidential primaries, when we allowed the police to exclusively deal with security matters, and you saw the outcome. That is a kind of political will we expect to see on the part of the president and the ruling New Patriotic Party. But let us even grant the president that we need new legislation, because it is said that too much meat doesn't spoil soup, you understand? Let's grant him that we need that. Has there been any indication as to any specific timelines within which the Attorney General is supposed to present this new law to Parliament? As we speak now, there's not been any indication to that effect. So are we to wait indefinitely for this new law? And why must we wait for this new law to be passed before we deal with this problem of vigilantism? My sister, you see, the issue of vigilantism is a very serious matter. If we do not act now, some of these vigilante groups may soon develop into uncontrollable monsters, and that will pose a lot of risk for our security, our peace, our stability, and our democracy.
Are you not
speaking? It calls for urgent action.
Are you not speaking this way simply because you're in opposition?
Not at all.
For the NPP's national organizer, Sammy Gyamfi, I had him sit here yesterday. He thinks that the NDC has not showed enough commitment to dealing with the problem. Oh,
my sister, we have publicly stated that we do not support acts of vigilantism.
But what have you done on the ground? What are the modalities? What are you doing?
Beyond the talk, we've actually taken actions. It is said that actions speak louder than words.
Let us
During our just ended presidential primaries, the party came out and said, listen, we will not tolerate any private group, you know, which will try to provide security for purposes of this process. And that the police service and our security services will have exclusive rights to provide us with security. We stuck to that. Did you see any private militia or vigilante group parading themselves as security groups for the party during that process? No. That is what is meant by genuine political will. What are they doing? They are just engaged in their usual flowery rhetorics without any actions. As we speak now, they are recruiting more thugs. They are training more thugs ahead of the 2020 elections.
We don't want to go into that. The NPP has dismissed that.
No,
that's an allegation. We don't have them.
No,
here.
You have evidence. You have I am quoting by this. I'm quoting Joy FM. You carried investigations into the letter by the Upper West Security Liaison Officer.
Okay. And the party has distanced itself from that.
No, they have not. You see, it doesn't even lie in the map of the party to distance themselves from that, because Upper West Security Liaison Officer doesn't work for the party. He's an appointee of government. He works under the National Security Council chaired by the President. As we speak now, he has not been reigning, he has not been sanctioned. Government has not done anything to show that it doesn't support the ongoing recruitment and training of party thugs, which you exposed. We know of the integration of members of NPP vigilante groups into our security setup. Double is one example. Bamba, the leader, Kojo Bamba, the leader of the NPP Delta forces in Kumasi, is another example. Today, they all work in our national security setup. How does this new legislation deal with all these vexed issues?
Mr. Gyamfi, we would have to get to the Attorney General to find out all that. But let me come to your meeting proper with the NPP. I had Mr. Ewuku here. He says he thinks the NDC is not committed enough. He's not confident based on your posture that you're even willing to have this meeting at all.
What posture is he talking about? Our brothers in the NPP must understand that the people of this country are very discerning. And when they see genuine political will, they can see that, and they can distinguish between genuine political will and, you know, those who choose to engage in just empty, hollow rhetorics. We had the President of Ghana during the 2019 State of the Nation address publicly stating that I have directed my party, the party he leads, the NPP, to write to the National Democratic Congress inviting them for a meeting so that as political parties, they can discuss this issue of political vigilantism and come up with ways of ending it. Till date, ask the New Patriotic Party whether they have written this letter to us.
Well, they said they would do that. They were hoping to do it late yesterday or early this morning.
The President gave them a period within which they needed to do it. He gave them 1 week, true or false. Do they take their President serious? Or they think that this issue is a trivial matter which can be solved over the phone? Your president, your leader tells you, write to the NDC. What is so difficult about a letter, a common letter that the New Patriotic Party cannot write?
Looking at the posture of the two main parties, that your party and the governing New Patriotic Party, would you ever meet? Because in the president's letter, using the expression, if any, without prejudice to the outcome of the engagement, if any, creates the impression that that meeting may never occur.
You see, we are very emphatic that we are ever committed to any process, any discussion.
So why don't you compromise and meet the parties? Then you can start talking about the mediators or the facilitators.
It takes two to tango. The only people who are not committed to a multi-stakeholder engagement on this issue is President Akufo-Addo and the New Patriotic Party.
And I'm asking,
they are the lone voice against common reasons. You see, since the call of the President, we wrote a letter to the President in our own free will to welcome his call, indicating to him that we are ever ready at any time and place of his convenience to meet with him and the New Patriotic Party to discuss this matter. So we also made some proposals, you know, that the process should be expanded and enhanced so that we can have an all-inclusive process that captures the perspectives of the media, civil society organizations, all political parties, and all other key stakeholders in our democratic process. We appreciate that.
We've been having this discussion. We've been having this discussion.
I'm building a point.
I appreciate.
I'm coming to your question. You see, we've done that. all the civil society organizations are saying we agree with the NDC. The National Peace Council says we agree with the NDC.
The National Peace Council
Only
says
the president
they are available. They are available.
ever ready to mediate this process.
And we've had a member of that CFI say that we didn't necessarily say we agree with the NDC. We are only saying that
we are available. We are ready to participate.
Exactly.
We are ready to facilitate. We are ready to mediate. That is what they have said. Only the NPP and President Akufo-Addo are saying, no, we are not interested. They are outsiders. Statutory bodies established by laws of this country are being described by our president as outsiders. The Peace Council is established by the National Peace Council Act of 2011, Act 818. They are not outside, and yet they still maintain that they are outsiders. Don't you find it strange that President Akufo-Addo all of a sudden is creating an artificial gulf between himself and the New Patriotic Party? Today, he's shaking his responsibility. He is deferring the issue of this national dialogue to the national chairman of the NPP, Mr. Freddie Blake, when he knows that he is the leader of the NPP, he is the most powerful personality in the NPP, and that nobody in the NPP, but he is the leader. The chairman is not the leader. He is by far the most powerful personality in the NPP, and nobody, including Freddie Blake or Sammy Gyamfi, can take any major decisions for the NPP without recourse to the president of Ghana.
Would you want to encourage that? I mean, we are trying to separate state and party, executive and the party.
Let me ask you simple questions here. If we go and meet with our brothers from the NPP, meet with Freddie Blake, and it is established beyond reasonable doubt that indeed, just like you exposed, the Upper West Security Liaison Officer, doing. Indeed, we are having some thugs belonging to the NPP being trained ahead of the 2020 elections. Does Freddie Blake or anybody in the NPP have the power to stop that? No, because they don't work under him. He doesn't wield that power. The regional security liaison officers who are doing this are appointees of the president. They work under the National Security Council, which is chaired by the president.
That is an aspect of it, but we do know that within the parties, these groups exist. My question, which I still think hasn't been answered, can't you compromise? Can't you come to a compromise and say, okay, can I finish my question, please? We all want to see this menace ended. So let's have a meeting, but we're not going to shelve our proposal to have mediators. Let's meet first. Then we can have that conversation. Aren't you willing to make that compromise?
What you're suggesting is tantamount to Asante Kotoko and Accra House of Oak going to play a football match without a referee. But you see, let me make this point, that even before this meeting, we have demonstrated genuine political will by openly stating that we do not recognize any vigilante group as part of our party structures. We made that point. That's very important for you to note. Quite apart from that, we have backed that with the necessary actions by saying that in the last presidential primaries we just held, saying that we do not recognize any of these groups, none of you will be given the space to provide security. We have done that. What is stopping President Akufo-Addo from doing the same? He is the leader of the NPP. Today, if President Akufo-Addo says that the New Patriotic Party which he leads does not recognize the invisible forces, the Kandahar boys, the Bolegatanga bulldogs, the Volta crocodiles, the Abronya babies and all that would be a good starting point. What is preventing him from saying that if he is genuinely committed to this? What is preventing him?
You're questioning
they are going around the country. I heard
you're questioning the president's will to do this?
He's not committed. He's not genuinely committed to this. What he's interested in is his usual flowery. You see, he's known for delivering big speeches,
Mr. Gyamfi,
speaking big grammar.
Listening to you now and juxtaposing that to what I heard Mr. Wuku said yesterday, I mean, as a Ghanaian, and I'm sure many people are wondering, can we trust you, even if the president agrees to a mediator, with the kind of things you say about each other?
Us.
The NPP says about the NDC says about the NPP. Can we trust you as citizens, as the two big parties in this country, to do a good job with this? With the counter accusations?
No, you cannot trust us. And that is why you, the media, must be a key stakeholder in that process. That is why the National Peace Council must be there. You see, the issue of political vigilantism is not NPP. It's not an NPP-NDC issue. Make no mistake about it. The victims of vigilantism sometimes are you in the media. I was on Asempa FM when one of your colleagues came there that he had been attacked by members of the I group at, Adan East during the confirmation of their district chief executive. The judge at Kumasi, who was attacked by members of the Delta forces of the NPP, doesn't belong to the NDC or the NPP. DSP Nanka Bruce, who was beaten to pulp at the seat of government, doesn't belong to the NDC and the NPP. Who must represent the views and the perspectives of all these people in this dialogue process? That is why we are saying that if you leave us and the NPP, we will always argue among ourselves and all that. Get people who can build fences, people who can ensure that we are able to build consensus. That one to the president says, I'm not interested. Freddie Blay says, we are not interested. It has taken them forever to write a simple letter. What do they have to hide? What would they lose if they allow for an all-inclusive, broad, national discourse that involves the media, civil society organizations, and what would they lose? On
the issue of your party's processes to internally deal with the issue, we heard one of your members, leading members, I must say, Yamin, Joseph Yamin, talking about the fact that the party won't disband anything. You distanced yourself. He is a leader. People look up to him. Beyond distancing yourself from his comment, what are you hoping to also do to show a certain level of commitment?
That has already been done.
Which
belongs to the past.
Yeah, what did you do to him?
Yesterday he was invited to the national headquarters. He met a committee of the functional executive committee of the party. He had the opportunity to clarify the issue. His position is that he never uttered those words and that publication was a false publication. But the party indicated that we do not subscribe to that position at all. And so it was necessary for him to issue a statement apologizing for comments that he has made.
We are yet to see that statement.
No, he has issued a statement. Okay, I have a copy of that.
I'd love you to share it with us. I'd love you to share that. But beyond him, there
he has issued a statement. This is what we mean when we say we are genuinely committed to the process.
We need to wrap up this conversation shortly. Please permit me. There are other people within your party. I can talk about the Ashanti Regional Chair of your party, who at the time the unfortunate incident happened at your regional head office, came to say, we aren't disbanding any of these groups. There are people within your party who feel that way. What are you doing? What are you doing as a party to make sure that the position of the head or the executive trickles down to the people who are actually representing you on the ground? And
first of all, let me state that no regional chairman of our party has made those comments, none that I'm aware of.
Really?
The one that we are aware of is the publication which was attributed to.
Well, we aired it here on JoyNews. We aired it here on JoyNews. You know, we followed that story keenly.
The party has categorically stated its position. It doesn't matter who makes a contrary position. I am speaking as the National Communications Officer of the party. The national chairman has also spoken.
But they're likely to fight your initiative because they do not believe. So my question to you, Mr. Gyamfi, as the communication...
That is why yesterday Joseph Yamin was invited to the national head, and that is why this is the statement I spoke about. If I can read the statement with you.
We'll bring that to our viewers
I can share that with you later.
Yeah, sure, I would appreciate that for you.
But if you read the statement, you will see that clearly he is speaking in tandem with the party. He is supporting the position of the party that we do not need political vigilante groups.
Finally,
we do not recognize them. Samia Uku and Nana Boachi of the NPP are going around. They are deceiving you that we are going around disbanding our groups, when actually they are going around formalizing these groups.
Do you have any evidence to that?
He has spoken to the media.
That he's formalizing the groups?
That he's registering them.
I had him here.
That they are registering them
yesterday.
And he said they are disbanding them.
He never said that. He said they went there, they met the people, explaining to them
Google what I'm telling you right now. Samia Uku says that they are currently registering all MPP vigilante groups for purposes of streamlining their activities. That is what they are doing currently. Let them do what we have. We have openly reprimanded Yamin. We have called him to the party headquarters. He has issued a statement apologizing to the public and the party. We demonstrated, our genuine will to fight this canker during our just ended presidential primary. And I think you should be commending us for that. We are hoping to have a day in this country where the president, who is the leader of the New Patriotic Party, will say that I no longer recognize Delta forces, Invisible forces, Kandahar, boys as part of the formal MPP structure. We are waiting for that.
Mr. Wuku is asking your party to show commitment.
Freddie Blay.
Mr. Wuku is asking your party to show commitment, but also go around to talk to your boys. Would you accept that Would you want to do that? Would you take his advice?
We have already done that. You see, they are telling us to do something we have already done.
Thank you very much.
They are the ones who are supposed to buy the bullets and say that, listen, we do not support you, just like the NDC has done. We don't support what you are doing. From today onwards, you are not recognized as part of our, party structure, and that will be commencing the process of this, because they are the ones who brought mercenaries from South Africa and Serbia to train these guys. They've weaponized them. They need to disarm them and not just disband them.
Mr. Sammy Gyamfi, thank you very much for your time this morning. And well, we hope to see that meeting, if it will happen at all. And the president himself doesn't appear to be so certain that that meeting will happen. But we'll bring you updates here on your most credible news source, Joy News. Do stay. I'll be back with more.
Like all bad things in this country, we call bribes by fond names and we stop seeing them as bad. We call these things political vigilantism and we don't quite appreciate how bad. It is plain warlordism.
NCC will continue to condemn, name and shame all political parties who endorse, support, sponsor and or identify themselves with any of these groups until these groups are disbanded in word and in deed.
Political parties must be made compelled either by law to immediately disband these groups. Not only disband the groups, disarm the groups.
Coming from my own experience in Liberia and what I saw, and my family, some family members actually fought in the war, and some died in the process. People died, friends of mine died, and it touches everyone. I mean, when a situation comes, it doesn't know party colors, it doesn't know the color of your skin, what you're wearing, it doesn't know anything. This is not on, and we cannot, as a people, allow it to go on.
I believe that the time has come for us, as a political class, to say that this development is not good for the future of this country. We need to collectively stand up against this, development. That is what we politicians collectively must resolve to avoid, because nobody knows who the next victim will be.